Everyone knows about the solar system, right? Wrong. The solar system is much more complex than just knowing the names of the 8 planets and the dwarf planet Pluto. Our system is just a minuscule part of the universe, but we haven't even traveled to the end of our system yet. To learn more about the universe, we have to understand our solar system, which is part of the Milky Way, which has hundreds of billions of stars. And there are hundreds of billions of more galaxies out there too. But let's start with a small step, by getting to know our system better. I hope that you can learn the basic structure of the solar system and the sizes and scales of the distances and planets by watching our documentary.
If you ever saw the solar system as a model, you can easily underestimate the size of it. However, the actual diameter of the Sun is about 1,391,684 kilometers, and the distance from the Sun to Pluto is about 7.5 billion kilometers. That's why we make smaller models, to make them visually available for humans. In this video, we made our own little sun with a diameter of 20 centimeters. This brings the scale to 69,584.2 kilometers per centimeter. Please keep in mind that our solar system model is based on this scale for both distances and the diameters of the planets.
Our first stop is Mercury. Mercury has a diameter of 4,879 kilometers, being the smallest and closest to the Sun of the 8 planets in the solar system. The major gas that composes the atmosphere on Mercury is small amounts of hydrogen, helium, and oxygen, and because it has almost no atmosphere to retain heat, Mercury's surface experiences the greatest temperature variations of all the planets, ranging from negative 173 degrees Celsius at night to 427 Celsius during the day. Its name comes from the Romans. Before this, the Greeks believed that there were 2 planets, one which appeared in the morning and one at night. During the 4th century BCE, it was realized by astronomers that the 2 planets were really the same one. There are no moons on Mercury. Why have moons when you're the size of one? Our second stop is Venus. This planet is the second closest, and it's about the size of our Earth. Its name comes from the Roman goddess of love and beauty. The major gas that composes Venus is almost completely carbon dioxide. In addition, the major composition of land is volcanic lava. Venus, our planet, is literally hotter than the love god it's named after. There are no moons in this planet as well. There's an interesting prediction about what happened to Venus's moon. Scientists showed that Venus actually gained a moon from a large collision with a gigantic rock. And it lost it again by another rock that changed its orbit and made the moon go back to collide with Venus after 10 million years. Our third stop is our planet, Earth. Earth is the third closest to the Sun. The orbital period is actually about 365.25 days, which made the mystery of February and its number of days in a month. After 4 years of our orbit, those 0.25 days become a whole, and that's why we have an extra day in 4 years, in February. The name of our planet came from the Anglo-Saxon word Erda, meaning ground or soil. Later it became Eartha, eventually becoming Earth. Ironically, the composition of Earth is not all ground or soil. It's 70% water and 30% land. There is one moon, as we all know. If you think about it, isn't it strange that we call our moon?
This 4th planet has a diameter of 6,779 kilometers, which is about half of the diameter of Earth. It is named after the Roman god of war, Mars, otherwise known as Eris from the Greek myths. Maybe that's why they have a chocolate bar named after this planet, to make you feel that eating it will energize you up. It's 227.9 million kilometers away from the Sun, which makes it colder than Earth, and it has a surprising mean temperature of negative 55 Celsius, making it even colder than the North Pole. Even making it worse, the atmospheric composition is 95% carbon dioxide. No chance of survival here. Interestingly, there are 2 moons, and 1 year is 687 days. Half the diameter, a year twice as long. Unlike Mars, a smaller planet than Earth, our 5th planet, Jupiter, is a humongous giant. The diameter being 139,822 kilometers, Jupiter is the largest planet of our solar system. Jupiter's name came from the Roman thunder god, which is equivalent to Zeus. We can easily infer the reason why: the gigantic size and probably the power represented by it. If you guessed that this planet would be hot like thunderbolts of Zeus, sorry, you're wrong. The mean temperature is an overwhelming minus 145 Celsius here. Amazingly, this greedy giant possesses 67 moons, some even without names because there's simply too many. To summarize, Jupiter is the grand planet with the biggest numbers. Sixth is Saturn, well known for its ring. It's named after the Roman god of agriculture, but seeing that the mean surface temperature is minus 168 degrees and the planet is full of ammonia and methane, we'll have to let go of the hope of harvesting here. Astonishingly, there is 26 Earth years in this planet's single year. The size is similar to Jupiter but a bit smaller, and the number of moons are similar too. There are 62 moons that orbit Saturn, with the well-known famous ring. Actually, to be more precise, rings. They consist of countless small particles ranging in size from micrometers to meters, which are made almost entirely of water and ice. We still cannot figure out when these particles started to orbit around Saturn.
Our seventh stop is Uranus. Uranus is the seventh planet from the Sun and the coldest in the solar system. This planet has a diameter of 50,724 kilometers, and the name comes from the Roman god of the sky. Poor Uranus had to suffer teasing from many students because it sounds similar to a certain word, and ironically, his nickname is the icy giant. That's due to the major elements that make up the planet, ice and gas. And the surface temperature ranges from minus 153 degrees Celsius to minus 218 degrees. Surprisingly, in 1986, only one spacecraft, NASA's Voyager 2, was able to fly closely past Uranus. Stop is Neptune, and it is the last planet of our solar system. However, it's not the end of our documentary, because there's a dwarf planet, Pluto, which is often ignored as a whole. The meaning of Neptune came from the Roman god of sea. The major elements are hydrogen, helium, and methane. Additionally, the length of a day is 16 hours and 6 minutes, and the length of a year is 165 Earth years. Sadly, Neptune suffers the most violent weather in our solar system. It has huge storms with rapids, strong wind. In its atmosphere, bright clouds whirl and change rapidly too. Last stop is Pluto. The name Pluto comes from the Roman name of Hades, the god of death. The length of a day is 153.3 hours, and the length of a year is 247.7 Earth years. You would die before celebrating your first birthday. Pluto takes the longest time of the 9 planets to orbit around the Sun, because it's 7.5 billion kilometers away from it. The diameter is 2,368 kilometers, which makes the smallest planet. That's why we call it the dwarf planet. There are 5 moons on Pluto, which is quite astonishing for its size. One of the reasons why Pluto was declassified as a planet was because there are asteroids in the solar system bigger than Pluto.